He still got it. And so y'all next Sunday, just come on over. And she, just let her know. Boy, I tell you what, some of those lima beans and corn, and boy, I tell you all about it. It was wonderful meat. I think it was, maybe it was pork. Was it pork? It's beautiful. And slaw was good. The whole works. The homemade bread, butter. Have I got you interested here? No leftovers. We licked it clean. In fact, she didn't even have to wash the dishes. She just put them away. She did a wonderful job. And then we had a wonderful pie and some good coffee, Kent. My goodness, you provided the coffee, and it was perfect. And now Julie did have to learn how to run the coffee machine, because Sister Kayetta drew the line. But we ran that coffee machine, and we ran the coffee through it. And so thank you. Wonderful. Julie and I enjoy good coffee. And thank you, Brother Kent, and different ones. Thank you for your hospitality, your generosity to us over the Christmas season, our family. Just to thank you to you as a church for your faithful support of the Heartland Bible Methodist Conference. Your faithfulness to support the conference financially, and it means a lot. That finances come into the conference as it does, and that helps us run the conference office. It helps keep me available and on the road to be able to help pastors, churches. It also provides resources for us to be able to help other ministries of the conference, camp meeting, youth camp, men of integrity, ministerial. If there's any need, we're able to provide. We provide Beulah Grove and the grounds there for men of integrity. It also, conference askings helps us. I've raised sponsors for that in additional to what the conference does. But the conference helps is very much the foundation of supporting that and providing that, so that our ministerial is free to our pastors, our ministers in the conference. And then we're there to help churches in time of crisis or time of need. There's financial resources there available. Pastors that come and have needs or urgent care or emergencies, crisis. We've had it all, and your faithful giving, along with the other 32 churches that give. I think the treasurer told me this year, I think the first time in history as I know it, and I would go back almost 35 years, every conference church supported the conference in some measure financially, and that just makes a tremendous blessing and gives strength to the conference, and many hands make light work. And then your faithful support of missions and what you do through our missions department, Bible Methodist Missions. And it's just a wonderful blessing. Dr. Hutchison is doing a wonderful job leading the missions department. Sister Viola Durr is our conference missionary president. And who would oversee missions here in Port Clinton? Who would be that person? Who? Kim, Sister Foreman. Okay, yep, pastor's wife. So locally here, every church has its local missionary leader. And so that's kind of the tiers, Sister Kim, then up to Sister Viola Durr, and then up to R.G. Hutchison. And of course, the conference comes together, collaborates, and comes together collectively with the other conferences to help set the budget and hold the conference missions accountable financially, and helps direct that communication, as well as our general connection, website, the Bible Methodist paper, all of that. That all takes money, and funds, and your faithful giving makes all that possible. And so thank you so much for that. Thank you for caring so deeply for your pastor and taking care of them financially and in all kinds of ways. And just God bless you richly for it. So thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight. I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the conference, and then we're going to, I'm going to read Psalm 1. We're going to close with a reading through this. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 1, and we'll just read through it before we go here in just a few moments. But thank you for your support of the Heartland Conference. The conference, our boundaries would start as far west as St. Louis, Missouri, the Missouri line, basically. And then it would go east all the way to the Atlantic, Hampton Roads, Virginia. We've even had a church in Hampton Roads. They're now disbanding. It was made up mainly of military personnel, and for many years served military people who were Bible Methodists out in the Navy Yards there at Hampton Roads and Virginia. But many of those have been moved and stationed elsewhere, and so that church, as of this month, has held its final service. And we're just praying to see if what God may open or what doors may open for that. But that would be part of our boundaries. So it would come across to Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia, and some of the New England states. And we have currently 32 Bible Methodist churches in the Heartland Conference alone, 32 churches that I would visit on a regular basis. We credential right at about 100 ministers in the Heartland Regional Conference, 100 ministers that would be credentialed with us that are pastoring not only Bible Methodist churches, but many of them are also pastoring independent holiness churches. There's quite a crew of those pastors that are pastoring independent churches. And I, of course, minister to those people, and most all of those churches invite me in annually. I go in and able to be with their pastor, and even some of those independent churches, such as Frankfort, Indiana, where Dr. David Fry pastors, Gratz, Pennsylvania, where Dr. David Bubb pastored, and now Pastor Going is there. Different places like that. I go and I visit with them, and actually almost like a conference visit, and they invite me to come in and be there for their pastor or their pastoral staff. And so we have pastors that are part of that group of about 100. We have evangelists who travel and do evangelistic work, like Mark and Melody Sankey, for example. Some of those. We have others who do missionary work, such as the Muirs, Brennan and Yvonne Muir. They're Heartland credentialed. He's an elder in the Heartland Conference, and yet they're some of our missionaries. And we also have a crew of our elders that would be Christian educators. They're teaching professors in Bible college, seminary. So and then there's a bunch several who are older and are retired. We call them superannuated. That's a big fancy word for meaning they're retired. And we still invite them, have them come around. And they're always a blessing to have, either at camp meeting or ministerial or wherever it is they can show up. And many of them attend Bible Methodist churches, and where they are and where they've retired, they're such a blessing to have. And so that's kind of what our makeup is, and who we are as far as our how we're structured. And it also provides, we exist, first of all, to equip and ordain licensed clergy or ministers to influence or lead the church biblically. And it provides a tier of accountability. It provides a level of networking together so that pastors aren't alone or isolated. Isolation is a bad thing. Isolation is not a good thing. It's not good for you to personally isolate. And neither is it good for a church to isolate itself, cut itself off from the greater church, universal church, the Church of Jesus Christ around the world. And so the conference networks and communicates. Pastor Darren has a whole bunch of peers, friends, other comrades who are also pastors and Christian educators and ministers that he can fellowship with, that he can talk shop with, that he can glean ideas and swap ideas and have prayer support and just fellowship. It also provides not only that, but it provides your pastor a whole level of accountability. Not only is he accountable to the church leadership here, the lay leadership, the board, whoever those folks might be, or ever how you're structured. But his credentials are given to him through ordination by the conference, and so he's accountable. He and I, we all annually submit to the conference and give report, and we respond, and it provides a whole level of a conference exists not only for the minister, but also for the local church. So we're here to encourage and to help direct the local church to impact, evangelize, disciple its community, their communities redemptively. So often pastors call, we share ideas, we give insight. When there's matters developing, we connect with, give information, share information, anything we can do to help the pastor and the local church accomplish its redemptive goals in its community. And so we do that in various different ways. But anyway, because we believe it's all comes back to the local church, that the single greatest investment we can give to you as a local church is a godly, anointed, capable man of God who stands in the pulpit and preaches and declares the word of truth, and who lives out a holy life with integrity and transparently. So we believe that's the greatest investment we can make in a local church, and then they enable through their ministry, they're able to offer leadership that then helps you to influence and impact your communities. And you do that here. That's incredible. And the things I hear about and read about, see on Facebook, that I hear from Pastor Darren. He's also the vice president of the conference. So you all need to pray that I keep living, because if something happens to me, your pastor is one heartbeat away from doing this. He could still pastor you until there's transition, so don't panic. If you hear of my death, don't panic. But he is my right-hand man, and serves the conference so ably, and is a dear friend and brother. But anyhow, we are here to help invest in the local church, and to make the local church as strong as we can, and to encourage at times of transition, times of development. There's so many times through the building project or whatever, Pastor, we've had conversations with Pastor Darren. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? What's your ideas? He bounced ideas off of me or other men of the conference, and we're able to provide some feedback, hopefully to be an encouragement and to enable the local church to accomplish its task. We also unite with the larger connection to increase missions globally. And so we do connect with the other conferences. So the Bible Methodist Connection of Churches has the Heartland Regional Conference, which is us, but it also has the Southern Conference, which is out of Alabama. The headquarters is out of Alabama. We have the Southwest Conference, which comes out of Oklahoma, Idaho, down Texas, New Mexico, all that down in there. And speaking of that, you've got a van, sounds like, coming over here tonight. Well, that prayer is not a slight matter. If they're driving from Texas to here right now, they're following major storms and tornadoes and all kinds of stuff going on. So hopefully they're behind it, because it was going through this morning. And so pray, yes, that's a serious request, that that van, and that its driver, occupants, whatever might be the case, arrive safely. So thank you for impacting your communities as you do here, and for investing in missions. And we connect you with the larger church. You're not a church, you're not alone, even as a congregation, but connecting to other churches and helping impact missions. It's amazing when you give to missions, when the call goes out, we need to get some money for missions, or we need some prayers for mission. It's amazing what God is doing in missions. We have missionaries, we have a missionary station in South Africa. We've got mission works going on in Mexico through the Ezra, a biblical seminary down there, and with David Martinez down there, and of course Brennan and Yvonne right now are in Cincinnati. They'll be on deputation. They'll be traveling this next summer and next fall. And our churches, hopefully you'll be meeting them and seeing them here, beautiful family. But then also the Philippines, of course, a very strong work in the Philippines. In just a couple of weeks, our pastor from Franklin, Pastor Brian Wardlaw, will be making a trip with Dr. Hutchison to the Philippines for a pastor's conference. So keep them in your prayers. We're looking forward to hearing back from that. I made that trip a few years ago. That's quite a trip. And so they need a lot of prayer, God's protection, and open doors. And this spring, in fact, the last week of February through 1st of March, I'll be traveling with Dr. Hutchison and Pastor Mike Mader, and I will be traveling to Papua New Guinea. So we'll be about 27 or 28 hours in flight transition to get there and back home. So you can just imagine what that's kind of like. And so we appreciate your prayers. And we're going over the Holiness Church in Papua New Guinea has reached out to the Bible Methodists and said, we would like to partner with us and the work that's going on here in Papua New Guinea. It's an incredible work that God has been nurturing and growing in Papua New Guinea for many years. And they want to come alongside, they want the Bible Methodists to come alongside them to provide help and assistance as needed. They're very indigenous, they're quite capable, but they want our help to just help give leadership and structure to what they're doing. And so, very important trip over there, and so appreciate your prayers. But again, your investment in missions is helping us do amazing things in different places. France, there's a mission work going on in France. There's just a lot of things happening in different parts of the world, and we're thankful for that. We have elders, Heartland elders, who are working along with other mission organizations. For example, Andrew Street is with Evangelical Faith Missions out of Bedford, Indiana. He's in Asia. We have there's also Marika Harrer, who's one of our Bible Methodists, who is working alongside a missions group out of Hope International Mission. Hope's out in Florida. And so we partnering with other organizations as well, coming alongside and helping move the gospel forward. So thank you for giving to missions, and appreciate that. Hopefully you're getting your hands on the Bible Methodist paper, and hopefully that's being provided in some way. That usually comes to the churches in bundles and then can be distributed. So if you're not seeing that or you wonder about that, just talk to your pastor, and it could be that you're just missing it or whatever. But please look at the paper, and if you can get your hands on it and read it, it'd be wonderful. Also, like the Heartland Regional Conference Facebook page on Facebook, Heartland Bible Methodist Regional Conference is the title of the Facebook page. So please like that, and then you can see the posts that I make there, and my travels and events that are going on around the conference. So make sure that you're aware of that as well. And then lastly, we exist to invest and provide the local conference, a United Gathering. Beulah Grove is our campgrounds there in Mendon, Ohio. And we're just so thankful for what God has provided and what He's doing and helping us to do at Beulah Grove. The week after Father's Day is always a camp meeting and conference annually. And y'all come on over this year, 2025, Monday after Father's Day through that following weekend is our 60th anniversary year. 60th anniversary of our conference, camp meeting. And on the Saturday of camp meeting is going to be a special anniversary day. And we want you to be there. There's going to be great food. There's going to be some activities. There's going to be a homecoming service that night, featuring a lot of our previous leadership and all that will be who've been part of the conference. And it's just going to be a fantastic time. It's a great week of camp meeting. Dr. Mark Smith is our evening evangelist. Reverend Blake Jones is our Bible study. Jonathan and Jelena Glick are our singers. And R.G. Hutchison's our youth workers. And Jason and Michelle Hopkins are our children's workers. And so you just don't want to miss out. Camp meeting's a highlight every year following Father's Day. The third Monday in every July is our youth camp. So if you have some young people that are interested in youth camp, or you yourself are interested in coming and helping staff youth camp, reach out to us and talk to us. And we would certainly love to welcome you to help out, or any of your young people to come to youth camp. In September, always is Men of Integrity, and in November, of course, is our ministerial time. So God's doing great things at Beulah Grove. We're finishing up the J.D. Young building, which involves a chapel, a maintenance facility, a couple fully serviced restrooms with showers. It's a wonderful blessing, and we're wrapping that up. The chapel area and the restrooms will have heating and air conditioning when we're all done this spring. And right now we're getting ready to install ductwork. Installation's already been started, and we'll be wrapping that up hopefully within the next couple months. And that building will be completely done, and it's quite a blessing. Help me pray. I've got a family who's interested potentially in renovating the old maintenance barn into a pavilion for the camp, which would be a nice large pavilion that would service quite a few people, give them shelter in a place with picnic tables and a place where they can gather. And I'm praying that will come through, and if so, that'll be a wonderful blessing. We're getting ready to expand the size of the snack shack, which is an important part of Beulah Grove. If you come, you got to get a Beulah burger or some nachos and cheese or something at the snack shack. That's always a wonderful place, and people seem to enjoy it and like it a lot. So anyhow, you have people here at Port Clinton very involved in camp meeting and youth camp, and they're a blessing. So many of you are, and we'd love to have all of you come, especially this year for our 60th anniversary. So that pretty much wraps up some news about the conference. And don't forget, I heard it this morning, and I'm so grateful for it. The 21 Days of Prayer starts on January the 6th, I believe. I've already changed my notes, but I believe it's the 6th of January. And every day during those 21 days, there'll be a video posted on our Facebook link that will be a 2 to 3 minute devotional thought, and then a direction in which to encourage you to pray. And so I would encourage you it's another great reason to get on, like the Heartland Regional Conference Facebook page, is so that you can follow the trajectory of our 21 days of prayer. So let me encourage you. Different videos will be on there. I'll be on there a couple of times. Different men across the conference and around the connection will be sharing in that video. And then, of course, the prayer around the world. Brother Jeffries was already talking about that this morning, and you're making plans for that. And first I heard about the prayer stations. That sounds like a neat idea. I'd like to hear more about that. But all the different churches are joining with you, and even across in the fields, the missionaries. The fields take our missionaries and places where we have mission stations. They take that prayer around the world so serious. They love to join with the church in America, and for us to feel like one church praying together. And so they really take it seriously. And so I know that many of us do as well, and I want to encourage that. So make sure you're tuning in January for the 21 Days of Prayer, and let's get this year kicked off with a sense of divine anointing and direction from God as we move forward in the year after the 21 Days of Prayer. Psalm 1, and then we'll call it a day. I love Psalm 1. I probably will always endeavor to preach this passage. I'm not going to preach to you tonight, but until probably I can't preach anymore, because it's so profound and it's simple, but yet so powerful. Psalm 1 is like the text. If all the Bible was one sermon, Psalm 1 would be the text, the preacher's text. It's just amazing how God inspired his word to be written. He addresses two types of people here in Psalm 1, which there are two types of people. There's either the one who follows hard after God, who, as a result, is the blessed person. or the person who rejects God, ignores God, who is ultimately the cursed person. There's two paths, there's two procedures to blessedness. There's two paths of blessedness. There's two promises. One for the blessed, there's the promise, and there's also a promise to the one who's cursed. Two results, two outcomes. Blessed is the man, verse 1, or the person, man here being a generic reference to humanity, to people. Blessed is the person who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. So verse 1 is the natural inclination of the unregenerated person. We listen to the wrong people for our life advice. We tune in to the wrong things. We gravitate to the wrong people. And as a result, we live this life, the scorn-filled life, a life driven to bitterness and anger. Anybody see any anger around here lately in the world? I mean, just the culture without God is an angry culture. Wounded people are angry people. Broken people are angry people. Sin leads us to anger. Alienation from God. Because there's only one Prince of Peace. It's not a process or a procedure, it's a person. Isaiah tells us he's the Prince of Peace. The natural man. So you pay attention to who you listen to. You pay attention, does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. You pay attention who you identify with, nor stands in the path or of sinners. That's a position of identity. You're traveling with sinful people. You're identifying with sinners, nor sits in the seat. So you go from walking to standing to sitting. Doesn't sound like progress, does it? Because it's not. It's not. You listen to the wrong counsel. You then respond in the wrong way. You identify with the wrong people, the wrong things, and it leads you to a life paralyzed in bitterness, skepticism, unbelief. Verse 2, the blessed man doesn't do these things, but this is what he does. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. Contrasting what's not good for me, the word meditate speaks of absorbing. I will absorb what is good for me. It's an intentional choice. I will delight myself in the law of the Lord. What's he saying? If God said it, I'm going to like it. That's a choice. God's design for marriage. That's God's design. He said it. I'm going to like that. God's design for holy living. We who are called of God from darkness to light, all, and those who respond. The Bible says, Paul writes in Romans, that we are predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, Jesus. That's holiness, Christ's likeness in me. That's what God said. I'm going to like it. God said, don't steal. So I'm not going to. And I'm going to be happy about it. God said, don't murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't do these things. Don't bear false witness. Don't lie about your neighbor. Okay, God said those things. I'm just gonna do or not do whatever he says. That's the way to blessing. that receives the blessing of God, you see. I'm into blessing. I'll tell you right now. The blessed life. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates. He absorbs it in day and night. This means he's constantly filling himself with good things. So, we're careful about what we absorb in. Whatever comes in goes out. And such a person shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season. The whole rivers of water, the metaphor there is just beautiful. Rivers and water, life in the Spirit, the whole spiritual connection there. Rivers of water, unending, constantly flowing, always nurturing. We're not talking about a pond. We're not talking about stagnant water. We're talking about fresh rivers of water. Say, can you step into the same river twice? The old, can you step in the same river twice? And the answer is kind of like no. The water flowing means every time you step back in, it's fresh water. It's new water. The old water is already gone. So the life in the Spirit, this constant flow, the man that lives a life planted, intentionally planted in the good things of God, finds himself nurtured and cared for by this endless flow of his presence and peace. So planted by the rivers of water, he brings forth his fruit in his season. A life that's productive, whose leaf also shall not wither, whose life is consistent, and whatever he does shall prosper. His life leaves a legacy, a footprint. The ungodly are not so. Verse 1, people are now, these are the ungodly. Here in verse 5 or verse 4, the verse 1 people, it is not said of them what's said of the verse 2 people or person. The verse 1 person is ungodly and are not so, but rather instead of being like verse 2, a tree planted, they are chaff driven, which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand. A tree planted by the rivers of water, bringing forth fruit, doing all this, not the ungodly. The chaff shall not stand. The ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. No, verse 1 is identifying with the path of sinners, living the life of the scornful, all of those things. He is not with the verse 2 crowd. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous. This is promise. This is the blessedness. The Lord knows the way that I take. But the way of the ungodly shall perish. That word perish is a powerful word. John 3:16, it makes me think of John 3:16 every time. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not, what? Perish. To fully understand the good news of Jesus Christ, you must also understand the bad news without him. But when we see that negative, that I, a child of hell, should in his image shine, the poet said, that's power. And that brings joy to my soul. The Lord knows the way of the righteous. God knows the way you take tonight. He knows the step. He knows where you are. He's got you in the palm of his hand. You are honoring him. You're loving him. You're obeying him. You're walking with Jesus. You're saturating your life with the good things from God. You are blessed because while you may not have all the riches of this old world, it's fleeting anyway. You have riches untold, and that you have a treasure, Christ Jesus. There's such a treasure that fades not away. So, God help us to live out Psalm 1:2 so that we might be tree-planted people that the Lord knows the way that we take. And He's pleased with it. Praise his name. Father, thank you for your goodness to us today. Thank you for your peace that passes all understanding. So, Lord, I pray that we will leave this place and arrive safely at our destinations. I pray again for that van that's journeying across the South. We think of all of these needs that were prayed for today. Touch Pastor Darren and Sister Kim in a special way again tonight. Bring them home safely. And for the needs of this city, for those that are lost, lonely, whose lives are shambled, who even tonight wonder if there's any hope, lead us to them and them to us, so that they too might become aware of your marvelous grace. I pray this in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen. God bless you. Braden, we done? Yep. We're done. You're dismissed.
His name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your praise, O Lord our God. For endless days we will sing your praise, O Lord our God. I look all around me, all the places that you said you'd be, but I can't find your face, and I don't feel your grace. No matter where I turn, no matter how I hurt, sometimes it's hard to see where you are, but I know you know the way I take. I know each step is paved with grace. I'll come through this fiery fight, but only in your perfect time. I don't understand your ways, but I know you understand mine. You may choose to break me so that others see your glory. What was useless once before, you're able to restore. And though it feels like I might die, I've no tears left to cry. When you say be still, my soul will. 'Cause I know you know the way I take. I know each step is paved with grace. I'll come through this fiery fight, but only in your perfect time. I don't understand your ways, but I know you understand mine. God always sees, God always hears, so there is no reason to fear. 'Cause I know He knows the way I take. I know each step is paved with grace. I'll come through this fiery fight, but only in His perfect time. I don't understand His ways, but I know He